In this video, we're going to delve deeper and have a look at what is inside an atom. Last time, we looked at atoms. Atoms make up everything in the world, and there are lots of different types of atoms. Each have their own name, and they're called elements. Our atoms can join together to make lots of different things. But what is an atom made up of? Atoms are made up of protons, neutrons, and electrons. Protons and neutrons are found in the nucleus, which is at the centre of our atom. Our electrons orbit around our nucleus. Let's have a look at the nucleus in more detail. So, our protons and neutrons make up our nucleus. They have all of the mass of the atom. The protons tell us what type of element our atom is, and they have a positive charge. Our neutrons have no charge, but they do have the same mass as a proton. What about the electrons? So the electrons orbit around our nucleus, and they are in shells, so they're each at a different level. They have very little mass, but they do have a negative charge, so the opposite of the protons. There are always as many electrons as there are protons in an atom. We have the same number of protons and electrons in an atom. Because they have opposite charges, that means we have a zero charge overall. All of the mass is centred in the nucleus, in the centre, because the electrons have very little mass. But what does that mean for the periodic table? So not only does it tell us about all the different types of atoms and elements we have, but it also tells us how many protons, neutrons, and electrons each atom has. We can tell that from looking at the numbers. The top number tells us how many protons we have. It also tells us how many electrons we have, because they're the same. The bottom number tells us how many protons and neutrons we have. So if we take away the top number from the bottom number, that's how many neutrons we have in total. But is that always the case? Do we always have the same number of protons and electrons? Well, not always. So ions are atoms which have gained or lost electrons, so they now have a charge. Plus if they've lost electrons, minus if they've gained electrons. So we can tell how many electrons an atom will gain or lose depending on where it is in the periodic table. But we'll look at this more next time when we look at how atoms bond together. Thanks for watching.